Yeah, Dell wouldn't let me into Facebook today, so I couldn't get on. So I'm on the iPad. Welcome all. Welcome. Welcome. Especially welcome Michael, who is in California tending his mother, who's ill. I love you all. And the reason I love you all is I know who you are. I know who and how you are from the inside because you're me. You're the source. Ultimately, we're all the source of this existing world. So I love you because I love me. I love this life. I love the sense of I am. Ever since 11 years ago, I had that experience of the energies bursting out of me with the white light and the great power. And I saw that I was God, or at least at that time, that I was seeing God. And a few moments later, I recognized I had that same characteristic as my experience of God, which was of not energies anymore, not like the energies I had felt prior, the energies I had talked about, like the healing energies and chi and all that moved through my body. But something much more powerful and much more subtle than those chi energies or the kundalini energies, which emerged from my gut, through my heart, and into my brain. And after they stayed in my brain for a while, after a passage of a few days, I recognized almost as a secondary awakening experience that I am. I have come alive. And it was bursting with energy. And I just wanted to cry it out over and over again. I am, I am, I am. I exist. I have come into existence. Or as Muktananda put it, I have come alive. And that was my experience. I had come alive. After being 68 years of living thinking I was alive, I felt that experience of being me and being alive, of being an individual and being alive, and at the same time, identical to the universal principle of God, of the life force. The life force was God, the life force was me. And today I was reading through more of Nisargadatta's The Ultimate Medicine. And one chapter made it very clear. He said it was his central teachings, which is to recognize and, so you might say, attain that I am sense within you. It's easy to say I am. But until you get the shock of I am throughout your entire psyche and your body, where it wells up inside of you and you find the source of you, the experience of knowing you are. Until that happens, really you're a ghost, living other people's conceptual life. All those ideas you had up till now, who you are, what you are, where you live, that you're a human being, you're male, you're female, you're going to school, or you work every day, you're bored with your life, or you're happy with your life. All of these things are mental, and it's not that raw experience that I am. I am come alive. You hear that, Vesselina? The experience, I have come alive. That's what you're looking for. All the rest of the shit in your life doesn't compare to that. Medical school, life and body, none of that is important. And you'll see someday. So, how do you find that I have come alive experience? For Nisargadatta, it's a matter of thinking about how you came into existence, what your first experience in life was when you were 2 or 3 and you came to realize that you were. He wanted to nail you to that experience, that recognition when you came alive for the first time. And I think for me, it was an experience I had of being in a crib in a large room that had sort of green tinted walls, and I could hear people talking in a neighboring room, but I couldn't understand what they were saying, probably because I was too young. Or perhaps the words were too garbled because of the walls between me and them. Then I remember another experience of being underneath the kitchen table. And I was picking up something like that. And I stood up and smacked my head to that runner that allows you to open up a table and put a plank in the middle. I had grown tall enough to allow it to hit my head, and it caused tremendous pain. And I guess I was aware that I existed. So either of those could experiences, but the second was more dramatic and traumatic, and more in the sense of knowing that you exist because of the tremendous pain in your head, my head. But I'll tell you, the experience I had 11 years ago that arose out of love and feeling the energies begin to circulate inside of me, first as a sense of presence, and then other energies running throughout my body and up my body from my gut to my chest to my head and out to my hands, which led to that one experience of feeling God arising in me as infinite power and light, and then crashing out of me through my heart, through into my brain and outwards into ever expanding light and power, which a few days later transformed from an experience of seeing or meeting God within me to the experience of wanting to shout, I have come alive, because I recognized what that experience of God was within me. It was my own life force. It was I am. And I said, I am, over and over again, very joyously, and felt the energy circulating through me. And know that this was not an experience that could be had just by looking for the I am inside of us. Because I had tried that by pursuing the Who Am I meditation of Ramana, Nisargadatta, and Robert for years. And I was aware of the I am sensation as well as the I am question or the I am thought. And I toyed with them. I farted around with them for many years. But when the experience, tremendous experience of the life force emanating out of my gut and chest exploded into light and energy with me and rose into my brain, that was something else entirely. An experience I never heard anybody else discuss. I've heard of the Kundalini experience, which was similar. But of those I remember reading, none of them got the knowledge that I was or I am from the Kundalini awakening within them and awakening in their brain. So I don't know whether it's going to take a similar experience in you of I am, of energy arising in you, the meeting of God, and feeling your similarity or affinity with God, and then that transmuting into I am, or whether it will be different for you. Mark, what was your experience?
I've had several experiences. One was similar to your shower experience. Just of ever broadening feeling of unity, calm, power, and bliss. At first it started like a little trickle, and then it ended up becoming my whole energy field and everything. So that's, I can't pinpoint a single experience, but it's been like a process of building on the original trickle and becoming 100% that energy rebuilt of me.
So should we call you Trickle Man? The trickle up philosophy?
I've been called worse, but I'm not very fond of that.
That's the Republican point of view. It'll trickle up. So I guess I point you to that as another kind of method that Nisargadatta cites, which is to think back to the first memories you have in life. The first time you realized that you were experiencing some experience as a body mind. The other techniques are to feel inside of you for the I am sensation, which is usually felt somewhere in the chest and near in the heart area, on either the left side or the right side. And just let that percolate in the center of your attention. I did that for years up to the time it exploded in me 11 years ago. These are helpful hints. And also at that time, I was exploding with love. And that's another thing you can cultivate by deliberately learning how to love and practice surrender. All of these things can help you to have an experience like I had, but it may come to you in an entirely different way, the awakening to yourself, to the life force. Or you can look around inside of yourself for the life force. And you can start by feeling your sense of presence as an energy field around you. And then start feeling into the center of your chest area for the source of that sense of presence. Because the life force has a similar feeling to one's own sense of presence, mainly because they're one. Just one is much bigger and more powerful. The experience of God inside of you or emerging from you. And then secondarily, feeling your own life force in as related to the force you felt of God realization inside of you. I guess I can say that the experience 11 years ago was brought about by a large amount of energetic happenings and becoming aware of those more superficial energies in me. Sense of presence, the trickling of the chi energies around inside the body, the energies flowing upwards and outwards into the hand and upwards into the head. And my obsession with developing energies at that time. Because when the experience came to awakening to the true I am inside of me, it was with such unimaginable power compared with what I was able to generate on my own by concentrating on the I am sensation within me. And most people can find an I am sensation within them. But until it explodes within you, not of your own doing, but sort of when it happens by itself because of your years of training, knocking on the door, so to speak. When it happens to you, you might say it blows away every concept you had about what spirituality and God is, and what realization is, and what energies are. Because the life force, when felt, becomes a new tonic for life. You're always aware of the life force after that, at the center of your being, located generally in the area of the heart or in the gut. For some people, they never experience it inside. They experience the center of their being as outside of them somewhere. That's why I think group meditation, where everybody's in the same room, and very quiet and powerful meditation, with somebody watching you and correcting your lack of attention or falling asleep, is so wonderfully powerful to inducing spiritual states, like the disappearance of body mind and the entrance of the totality of the external world into yourself as yourself. It's like a practice for the emergence of God within you. I keep trying to find ways to trigger this in you, to give methods, or to tell you about my own experience and how it felt, perhaps awakening something in you of a similar feeling in your own sense of being, in your own awareness of yourself. A memory, a reminder of who you are. I thought my telling about my experiences might set that off in you, a feeling of familiarity. That experience 11 years ago of the I am sensation, of I have come alive, and feeling the life force so vibrantly within, was the real change of my life spiritually. I've had other changes prior to that, but that precipitated the unfolding of the life force within me from that moment on. And from that moment on, I never had to do any practice consciously. It was all done through me and for me. Up till that time, spirituality was effortful for me. And after that time, it was effortless. Until that time, really, I was lost, finding my way for the light switch. And when that happened to me, the light went on. As Kaplo used to tell me, used to tell the people in the Sangha, satsang, it's like entering a dark room where nothing can be seen or heard, and feeling your way along the wall until you find a light switch. And suddenly, when you touch it, the lights go on and you can see the entire room. After that, you have no problem going from one part of the room to another, and even going into the next room, where you might have other light switches and other experiences. But by that time, the die is set after you had your first big experience of the self within, of the I am, of the energetic self, the vital fluid, as he sometimes calls it, the life force, God. And then you begin to have the secondary experiences of the sense of beingness, a kind of constant humming inside of you of the life force at a low level. It's always there, like a hum, hum, hum. And you feel the life force humming inside of you. And sometimes it bursts out again as a recognition of God within. That hum becomes God. And you fall to your knees, feeling that life force within you. That life force is God. It's what makes you go. It gives you energy. It gives the body its life. It provides your entire destiny. And it's the force of your life expressing itself through the flesh. That sounds pretty dramatic the way I presented it. Did it do its job? Do you feel an increased desire to know that life force firsthand, as your friend, as your God, as your mentor? Jay?
No, I absolutely do. The, the power of Brahman, the power of Shakti channeling through you. As I said, I'm living at the fringes of mundanity, but the takeaway from here is always exquisite, except that if I were plugged into an amp meter, my I am resonating would hardly move the needle. But that doesn't mean that I'm not aware of it. As you've said, it doesn't have to be tectonic. It just has to be my appreciation of God, and God manifest in me is always the most profound takeaway. So I blew you right off the air. I'm sorry.
How about a really rousing, fast-paced Krishna Das chant? A highly energetic one. It's hard to know.
Why don't you say continuously hum, hum? Really, I felt like it's some sort of buzzing in me too at that moment.
The time of context of that is gone.
Yeah.
But feel it inside of yourself, BJ. Feel down into your gut, not your heart, but lower into your gut. And feel any activity down there, the beingness. If anything moves or flows. And feel it as a humming. A humming. A tone. It's like the vital breath, the vital force, the life force is humming in you. Sort of like an engine revving. Hum, 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 or a cat purring. Perhaps the cat is feeling the life force when it purrs, because it's not constant. It's a hum. It's a purr. Purr. Purr, purr. Feel the purring within your own beingness. Feel the humming within your own beingness. And if you can't hear it, imagine it. Imagine a humming in the depths of your being, a humming. A humming. You can feel it, a humming right in your gut, swirling around and around, around and around, around and around in your gut. Feel it. Hum, 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 hum. And pray for the day that the humming breaks loose. And instead of circulating there, shoots up into your heart and your brain and shows you what God looks like, what your own self looks like, where you are one with God in that experience. Some of you may feel that you're about to explode with that energy. Others may have just gone away into nothingness. Still others can feel the humming within themselves. Still others can feel total stillness and peace. Okay, Mark, stop recording.